Whoopie doopie. But I am going to open the chat window because I have not been able to look at anybody else. Oh, and there's Erica. Erica said she was going to sneak into the chat room because she could handle that. So, yay! So you have a new member of the family that you need to show us.
Let's see if he'll cooperate twice. This is Bug.
Yay!
And he is a 5-month-old English Bulldog puppy.
Oh, and he's so cute.
Hi, people.
Hello, baby.
Yeah, so he's what's been keeping me kind of busy. Well, everything's been keeping me kind of busy the last couple weeks. We got him on June 30th. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is... Oh, and I just realized, hang on. Okay, now everybody can see him. My good God, I am going to get the hang of this, I swear. Okay.
Are you being a good boy?
Can you guys see?
He's like, but my toys are over there.
But I want my toys.
I don't want to look at that lady. So he will watch the TV if other animals are on the TV. It's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good boy. Nice job.
He's so cute. And he seems really mellow. Like,
he is pretty chill. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, bulldogs as a rule are pretty chill. Wait, bud, I'll tell Sammy when I come back downstairs. We'll text the kid and say, come get him.
Time for you to calm down.
Yeah.
I like that. So we haven't seen you in forever. How have you been?
No, because we had storms, and then we had, what else did we have? I don't remember. There was a day, wasn't there a computer problem? And then last week my husband got called to an emergency response, and that's an environmental engineer thing. So like his company contracts with the railroads, the rail lines.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's incident, they respond. In the summer there's been a lot of them, so when the usual people are gone, it like spreads, and they're like, okay, we need a body to go to Iowa or North Dakota or wherever. So that was, I think that was last, was that, no, that wasn't last week.
No, that wasn't.
That last week? I don't know.
Oh, I think it was.
Was that last week?
I think that emergency was last week, and before that it was the neighbor, and before that it was your son.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, it's been busy. And then today, my daughter's leaving for Sweden for 2 weeks.
That's what we were talking about. So, Erica, by the way, is waving wildly at you in silence from inside a ratty RV. Or rattly, not ratty. Sorry, Erica. Rattly RV. So, she's off having fun, or will be sort of having fun soon. But tell everybody about what's going on with your daughter.
She plays club level soccer, and so it's traveling soccer, and so she plays for a club called St. Paul Blackhawks that I actually happen to work for. It's a local nonprofit soccer club, and we every year send all of our 15-year-old teams to Sweden.
Whoa.
To a tournament called the Gothia Cup, which is in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Whoa.
But they first go to stay with clubs outside of Copenhagen. So they go for a week of homestays with Danish families. And then they go up to the Gothia Cup, which is one of the largest youth international soccer tournaments in the world. So I think this year, what did they say? 83 countries represented, and I think they have something like 1,800 teams.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I've been told it's something like a city the size of Minneapolis, St. Paul, that totally shuts down. Thank you, children, for extricating the dog.
They came and got a puppy.
Yeah. Now he won't be chewing on me. So it's supposedly a city the size of the Twin Cities.
Wow.
That totally shuts down for this youth soccer tournament. So they stay in high schools, and the whole downtown district is set up with turf soccer fields on the streets, and they play soccer with kids from all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so it should be pretty cool.
And did you go on a previous tour? Because she's done this before, right?
Not internationally.
Oh.
Though we did go. We went to Canada for the Women's World Cup last summer. That was really fun because it was in Winnipeg, and it was like it's in driving distance. The women's national team is going to be playing in the World Cup, like
wow,
within driving distance of the Twin Cities. So we needed to go. It's like that once in a lifetime thing for your kid that. So we did that last summer. But we travel. We go to we travel within the United States.
So, how did you wind up getting left at home? How did you wind up not?
Well, one, she has been waiting for this trip. So this is the 24th year Blackhawks has sent teams on this trip. So she has been waiting since she was a 5-year-old.
Wow.
to take this trip. And the coaches that she's traveling with, we've literally known since she was 3. So there's a huge amount of trust, and
right.
It's kind of a rite of passage, sort of, for her. And frankly, if I was going to spend $3,000 going to Europe, I don't want to go to a youth soccer tournament.
What is this you are saying, Dawn? How could that possibly be? I don't understand.
I love her, and I love watching her play soccer. But if I'm going to spend $3,000 going to Europe, I want to see more than soccer.
I kind of understand. I understand that, and in fact, I am going to. I just realized I'm hearing you through my regular speakers, which is not how I should be hearing you. I just found out that I'm going to be going to Brussels 3 times. I'm going 3 times because now I can't hear you at all. I'm going 3 times because I got a gig doing professional development for teachers over in for a government agency that has schools all over the world. Yeah. So
nice.
I'm really excited though, because we have listeners in and around Brussels, and I never get to see anybody. So that's awesome. So I'm very excited about that. And I just also realized that this is probably why. Oh, no, that's not why. Everybody can see all my camera settings now. But I'm going to be going right before the Paris trip. So that should be, it's actually going to work out that I get to Brussels 2 or 3 days before the Paris trip, and then I'll be able to take the train down, which I'm very excited about, because my best friend in high school, I have to remember the details, because this was one of those things that you just kind of don't believe until it happens to somebody who you can grill about it, because that's just not possible. But she got rerouted at some point during she was doing a junior year abroad or something like that. And she landed in Brussels, but her visa was to be a student in France. So she took the train from Brussels down to Paris, but it was the middle of the night, and she slept through the border crossing, so she never got her passport stamped. So she shows up, and mind you, like, I'm 5'8", she's Erica's height, and we were always, Mutt and Jeff, but she had to show up at the consulate to do her paperwork to be the student for a semester. And they looked at her and they said, "Have you spoken to anyone from any other countries while you've been here?" She's like, this is, mind you, this is 1984. Well, she had, because the guy who lived in the room next door to her was this nice Pakistani guy. So she said, well, yeah, I've been talking to so-and-so and so-and-so, and they heard his name and put her under house arrest.
Wow.
I know. It's like, wow, Amy, only you. There's nobody else I know who can get herself into weird trouble. Every time we went and did anything, something bizarre happened. We got stalked by guys one night when we went out, and I don't know, but she can do it. But now I'm excited because I'm going to get to go on the same train. I'm just hoping that I don't wind up getting arrested. That would be bad. I think that would be bad.
Probably.
Yeah. But I also imagine worse could happen in the grand scheme of things. So have you been touring de Fleece?
Yes. A lot, actually. Well, more. Well, yeah. Because, St. Paul is a wreck right now.
Yeah. That was the other question I was going to ask was your whole family. How are you guys doing?
Aside from to say the things that are going on are in areas I drive through all the time.
Wow.
So that kind of brings things to a different level. And there's a lot of positive things that have been happening, but some of the things have frankly been pretty scary.
Yeah.
And they've been relatively close to my house. So there's been a tension level. I mean, the kids going to Sweden and then this stuff, and so there's been not a lot of sleep here.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of spinning because that's really therapeutic.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear.
Right. So this is the stuff I finished before the tour started. I warmed up with this mask.
Oh, wow.
It's like a minty green.
Oh, wow.
And this, the light's not very good. It's greener than what you're seeing. It really is kind of a minty green. And it was a bat called leopard frog.
Ooh.
And it was 70% coopworth, 30% silk. And I think there were both silk noils and silk fiber in it as well. And I don't remember how many ounces. I want to say this was 6 ounces. I think it's more than 4 ounces anyway.
Wow.
So that is what I warmed up with. And all the fiber I'm spinning for the Tour de Fleece this year is fiber that my friend who gifted me my Louette wheel,
right?
Because she decided she didn't care for it. All of this fiber came with her because she said the only thing I want is when you figure it out, will you spin this stuff for me?
Nice.
So after playing with the wheel for a year now, because she gave it to me last year right before the Tour de Fleece, so playing with the wheel for a year now, I feel like I can maybe make her some decent yarn. It's not, amazing yarn, but I can make her some decent yarn to make some stuff with. So all of these fibers are hers and will be going back to her.
Wow.
So that's the stuff I did before the tour started. And then I tackled a pound of blue.
Wow. That is gorgeous.
There was a pound of this stuff, and it's more of really an electric, like Kool-Aid blue. Wow. And it's got yellow in it as well. This is a Cormo mohair 50-50. Cormo and mohair, which initially I was like, oh, that would be so awesome. Not thinking that mohair's really long. And Cormo's not. And Cormo's super springy, and mohair's not.
How did that go for you? Because I have used a blend like that before.
Yeah, it doesn't you know, and it was really a true roving. I don't have any of it left. I've spun it all. So I can't show you, but it really was a true roving, and it was hard to spin.
I'll bet.
Because my hands had to be so far apart to drag. It's pretty inconsistent because of then slubs of the cormo would get through. So it's not super thick and thin, but it's sort of thick and thin. Heather disappeared, but I'm going to keep talking like she's still here.
Good. That's the right thing to do because we're all back now.
Okay.
And I was trying to fix your audio because right now people are hearing you through my speaker system. I do not know why.
Weird.
So yeah, who knows? That's okay. We'll figure it out. But the pound, how long did it take you to spin? How long did it take you to spin the pound?
So I started on the first day of the tour with the blue, and that was July 2nd. And the spinning and the plying and the wash, it's all washed and finished now too. And I washed the last of it. I washed and hung the last of it, which is up there in the window, yesterday. So that means I plied it the day before.
Wow.
And I finished spinning the singles the day before that. So today's the 12th?
Wow.
11th, 10th. So I was done with the singles on the 9th. So about a week. Took me about a week. Yeah. But it was pretty fast going once I figured out that it wasn't going to... So that's finished. And the wheel's downstairs, so I can't show you now, but I started some Briar Rose fibers BFL top is what I started next.
Ooh,
and
that's going to be nice.
Yeah, that one's it's a green tones, and it's spinning really, really fine. If people go to my Ravelry in my hand spun, there's a project that is 2017 TDF. I don't remember what I called it, stable or something like that. But it has all the pictures from the daily stuff. I didn't get a picture taken yesterday.
Did you find that when you were spinning, and I know you can't see me right now, which just bites, did you find that when you were spinning the mohair cormo mix, did it wind up tiring out your fingers or like making them super crazy sensitive on the tips from the mohair?
It didn't. I kind of expected it to, because a lot of the time I do react to mohair. But it didn't bother my fingers at all. And actually, I think I would enjoy maybe trying to spin some regular mohair.
Really?
But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the blend of the long and the short together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
not that
work.
Cormo's not really a short,
Right.
But it's a lot shorter than mohair.
Yes. And it is, I find that it's, what's the kind of, now suddenly I can't remember the name of it. There's the silk that's been, bombyx, when they allow the caterpillar or the moth to come out.
Right.
When I've spun with that, I've noticed that the varying length of the fibers can tire me out, because depending on how well it was prepared in the first place, sometimes it's just really hard to draft it properly. Heather couldn't remember the word draft was the problem there.
Nice. Well, and I gave up trying to draft it consistently, so maybe that had something to do with it too. But I'm like that a lot with spinning. I don't try and make the fiber do what I want it to do. I'm just kind of like, oh, you're gonna be like that, okay. So yeah. I was
so that's how it's gonna be.
my intention for this Cormo mohair, because I thought with the mohair I could probably spin it a lot finer.
Right.
No, but it's really so it's really a worsted yarn. That's how
cool.
it turned out.
That's great though. You have so many spinny things.
Yeah, so that's good. And so this braid I'm doing is 6 ounces. After I finish with that braid, there's another ball of BFL, the BFL top that's in orange tones, and that one is 11 ounces. So we'll see if I can get all of that done.
Wow.
Because the BFL will take me a lot longer. And if I finish with all that BFL, then there's Wensleydale.
Wow.
Which I've spun in the past, and I made the mistake of Navajo plying it.
Yeah.
Which made it really coarse.
Yeah.
And wiry. And I've done some reading since then, because I do have a bit of Briar Rose Wensleydale that I would like to spin. And I think if I get to it, I'm gonna try spinning it from the fold. To try and get some more air into it to make it a little lighter.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
And not Navajo plying it.
Yeah.
Because way too much twist, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. That I'm trying to remember the fiber that I had used the first time I Navajo plied, because it came out really, really super soft.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I did it, thinking that I knew how it was going to respond, and I was so deeply wrong. It didn't. But I know what it was. Do you remember 1,000 years ago I bought the entire alpaca blanket?
Yeah.
And that was like the softest alpaca on the planet. And that's the one that I had Navajo plied originally, and that didn't do the weird sticky up stuff. But the next time I did it with the regular wool, sheep wool, it did. I don't know.
All right. Well, it didn't work well for the Wensleydale.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But I do think I needed to be putting a lot less spin into it, and doing a different drafting it differently to try and work with it.
That makes sense.
So then I'll show you the other thing I've been working on, which is going to take 1,000 years, because there's 1,000 stitches, is I'm casting off the Nuvum, the Martina Bame Nuvum.
My God, did you get it finished?
You end it by doubling all the stitches and knitting this like tiny ruffle section.
Oh my God.
So there's just a little ruffle on the end, which is super cute and stuff, but it doubles all the stitches at the outside of this big rectangle.
Can you just like parse through?
I have to cast them all off.
Oh my God. Can you just like string through from one end and show us all the, like you were pulling out a ticker tape?
Stitches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll start at one end of the needle.
Okay.
So here's the part where we're starting the cast off, and it goes.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God.
So that's like not even one side. I've maybe cast off half of one of the long sides of this. So this is one of the corners.
Wow.
And this will be one of the points at one end. So there's another end. So now this is a whole another side.
Oh my God.
There's so many stitches.
Oh my God.
So that's another side. And then here's the other end. There's the point on the end right there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It's long. It's a lot of casting off. But I found a really good way, because of course I started just binding off with the regular, loose bind off.
Right.
And I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was turning out. So then I goofed around with some other stretchy bind offs, and I didn't like how those were looking until I came across the have you done the knit two together bind off before? Knit two together through the back loop.
Yes.
Have you done that one?
Yes, I did.
I love it. It looks perfect for this. So since I stopped ripping out my bind off, it's going faster now. It might be a month before I get it done. I don't know. It's going to take forever.
Oh man, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and I'm going to love it when it's finished, but
when it's finished.
When it's finished.
I just figured out how to put both of us up on the screen at the same time on my end. So
yay! Maybe the people will see that way too.
Well, I'm watching the feed, which is on a 10-second delay, so I'm kind of I'm waiting to see. Oh yeah. So if you're on your iPad right now, though, right?
No, I'm on the computer.
Oh, well, if you go to the CraftLit channel, what is it? youtube.com/C, the letter C, lowercase letter C / CraftLit-channel. Then you will.
Let's see if I can see it on my phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That'll be funny.
And actually, I figured out how to make you even bigger. Okay,
bigger.
Now I can. Now,
is that better?
We're more equitable now. Oh, that's really cool, though. Okay.
Oh, look.
I'm learning things.
CraftLit Crafty chat. Ah! I'm on my own phone. That is super funny.
It's kind of surreal, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, but I can see me and I can't see you. Can you see you?
You'll be able to see me in a minute.
Here you are.
There I am.
Thanks. Now to put that up there.
Yeah.
Now I can see you.
Yeah, just 10 seconds after.
Shh, be quiet, phone.
My phone is always doing that. Oh, now I can watch myself take drinks, too.
Did we mute you? Why? No, we'll mute. That's annoying.
I was going to say, if you had a different set of headphones, you could do that, but...
There. That's super funny. Okay. Wow, look at you. Look what you did.
So, yay! I did something right today. So what, when this monster shawl is completely done, what will you wear it with?
Probably everything. I wear a lot of black and gray, so
right.
I think I'll be able to wear it with a lot of stuff. Yeah. And then in the winter, everything all the time.
Yeah.
Fall soccer season, I'll probably just keep it in the car.
That makes perfect sense to me. That is what I think. If I finish anything before the season, that's what I'll be doing, because I still have up here the shawl that Renee Rico Revnitz knit for me, and there are moments, they are few these days with the weather being what the weather's like, but there are moments when I still wind up wearing that over anything. I am shameless. I don't care if it matches anymore. It's kind of the same. I go out of the house without makeup on because...
Oh, all the time.
Right? And
you seeing me today?
And 10 years ago, I never would have done that. But now, whatever. And the same thing with shawls. I will wear a shawl just because I want to wear a shawl. And
doesn't matter if it goes.
Nope. Doesn't matter at all. Not even a little.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have been surviving by doing nitty spinny things.
Yeah. And taking media in small bits.
Yeah.
And not reading anybody's commentary on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not on Facebook anyway, so that's easy. But
Twitter's...
I've been advocating for a lot of my friends to just get off Facebook, step away from the Facebook, because it's not doing a lot of people a lot of good right now.
No, and in fact, it's one of the things that I'm noticing more and more about the CraftLit group in general is the and even Andrew has started to talk about it, the complete and utter separation between general Facebook and CraftLit Facebook.
Yeah.
The people on the CraftLit group are thoughtful and respectful, and I know that not
Right.
everybody shares the same political viewpoints, and I know that not everybody shares the same anything,
Right.
except that we all love books, and there's a level of respect that goes along with that I'm really very, very happy about, and totally didn't expect it to be like that. But I'm actually going to play on the podcast this Friday, the one that comes out this Friday, a student of mine who I think I've talked about before. He was our school's newspaper editor. He's just a really great kid. Of course he's not a kid anymore. He's 30 and he has 2 kids. But he's African American and his wife is white, and he's been in an interesting situation himself because his work cohort and his life cohort is very biracial, and that includes he's really good friends with a lot of police officers in Dallas, and so he had a really amazing, beautiful conversation with one of the police officers, and he wrote a piece about it that he posted on Facebook that's gotten so many positive responses. And I finally texted him and said, would you please record that for me and let me play it, because I think people need to hear it. And I played it for the boys, and their response was overwhelmed. Well, the first thing they said was, you taught this guy? He's like a genius. Yeah, and that wasn't my fault at all, because he just came in that way. This kid was like this from the beginning. So I was happy to see some positive thinking happening, because
we've actually had a good deal of it,
good.
Especially associated because Philander worked in a school, a Montessori school up here, so there's been some really neat dialogue going on with the community in the community of people who knew him, right. Kind of intentionally introducing him to the broader world, that this isn't just about him being Black, this is about him being who he was, right. And that the dialogue that has happened around those events and that kind of thing has been really beautiful, and definitely moving the dialogue, I think, in the direction that it needs to go. Right. So, which is really nice.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. I was my sister has been finding a lot of, I think, really important articles that weren't written recently, that were written before, that are very, not just prescient, but important on several different levels, because she's an ethnomusicologist at Syracuse, so she has this really broad spectrum of friends and access to people that most of us just wouldn't have access to. Mm-hmm. So that's been nice to read as well. But I just when I first heard about everything happening, I had assumptions in my head about where it had happened, and Minneapolis was not where it happened in my head.
Well, and it wasn't Minneapolis. This was St. Paul.
Oh. Well.
Well, and it's, I think it's easy when events like this happen to make assumptions about, like, what part of the city and what the area it happened in might be like. And this, I don't know.
Not the part that you would assume.
This did not happen where you thought it happened. He's not, yeah.
No, I know. And that's...
Yeah. But for those same reasons, I think this is bringing these issues and these events home to a dynamic of people who maybe would not have engaged with the dialogue and with the vigils and with the peaceful protest before.
Yeah.
But just because of the physicality of where it happened and where he worked, and I mean where the governor's mansion here is,
right.
It is both exposing and engaging a dynamic of people that probably would have just let it be over there before.
Right.
So,
right. And that's a horrible, it's a horrible thing to say, well, so that's good, but it's better, I guess, if it has to happen, and God, I wish it would stop happening, but if it has to happen, better this way, so that maybe we can get some forward motion into making it not happen anymore.
Well, I think the more people we can engage in a positive way,
yep,
the better.
Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, I remember after 9/11, that was when the whole city started knitting and crocheting.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was not just you spinning and knitting a ton, but a lot of people.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's been a hard week, and I hope, I just hope we see an end to the negative aspects.
Yeah.
Of things that have been going on, so people can really come together in support and solidarity,
focus on
to try to really affect some purposeful dialogue and some purposeful change, because
it's time.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah. Well, it was, what year was it? We were living in Tucson, so it was somewhere between, was it 2010? That must have been around 2010 when Gabrielle Giffords got shot in Tucson.
It was right before you moved. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You were still there.
Yep. And that, you're right, it was right before we moved. So it was either end of 2010 or beginning of 2012. And it was, you know, you would have thought that one would have mobilized some positive forward motion, but I guess we needed more. All I've been doing.
Enough depressing issues, right?
I know. I was gonna
oh my gosh, it's 1:15.
I know. Well, it's because I started the encoder. I couldn't get the encoder to work, but I wanted the. Oh, and now I don't have them. Hang on, I have to lean over here and grab a bag. I have been. I have only been doing one thing. Oh no, I took them out. I know where they are. I've only been working on one thing because I just couldn't wrap my head around doing much more. But I found it was one of those rabbit holes that you go down. I found a bullet journal site that linked to a bullet journal junkies Instagram feed that linked to a Pinterest page that eventually linked to a Zentangle bullet journal group.
Lord Heather.
I know. And this was one of those things where I couldn't sleep at night, so I'm just following the links, which is very calming because, you know, you're just looking at pretty stuff and it taxes your brain not at all. But then I landed on this one woman's hashtag feed. And I was looking at it going, oh, that's really interesting because I hadn't seen any of these particular tangles. And so what she did is she's organized a Zentangle a day practice group. So it's not like people who do those, you know, amazingly calligraphed things that look like it's 3-dimensional coming at you stuff. It wasn't that at all. It was people doing, I kind of did the bad job on this one. But everybody's been breaking a page down into days and then learning one tangle a day. Let's see. I can't tell. I feel like such a dork. Oh,
I'm
that's
watching
the one I
you
like.
I can only see you on the delay, so you're gonna have to wait for my amazing reaction until it comes up over there.
Okay. Well, I have to make sure that you can see something that's worth being amazed at. That's so funny. That sounds like an ooga.
That was my phone vibrating.
That was so funny.
Now, oh come on, start again. Now there's even more delay.
Oh no. Yeah, you're going to miss
I
it.
see it. Wow, that's a big journal. How big is that journal?
This one, it looks bigger than it really is. It's a 5, almost 6 by 8. So it's not too big. It's by Fabriano. But it's, eco, 100% natural, blah, blah. Like it's going to be 100% fake for paper.
Nice.
But yeah, it's acid-free paper and I like it. And I liked the way she was talking about doing this stuff as, let's not judge and let's not try and be perfect and it's not going to all be gorgeous and learn something instead. But what I started playing with was these, because we'd had these things sitting around for a long time. They're the Pitt artist markers, and it's all different shades of gray. Ha ha ha! I know, insert joke here, but they're all brush tops, and they have 3 cool shades and 3 warm shades, or brownishy and bluishy. And the difference in how they come across on the paper is remarkable. The one that I held up for the longest, the one that's got it looks kind of like fake fleur-de-lis. There, that one. That one has the brownish grays inside the design and one of the bluish, the same tone value on the outside of the cool gray.
Neat.
And I was blown away by that because I'm not very good at color theory in general, and it's one of the reasons why I think I have a hard time picking out yarn when I'm starting a project, unless the yarn, I got the yarn first and it told me what it wanted to be. Then I don't have a problem. But if I've seen a pattern and seen it done in the color combination that it was originally done in, I have a really hard time pulling away from that unless somebody picks something out for me. And then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I don't blend colors well, which is funny. I had somebody in a yarn store once come up and say, "Oh, you're a Taurus?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, well, then you must be good with color." And I didn't have the heart to say, I'm so absolutely not good with color.
Yeah.
I'll wear black every day. Black or white. Here's my white. But c'est la guerre. That's all I've done. And I made a pie.
Good. What kind?
Apricot pie.
I've never made apricot pie or heard of apricot pie, actually. It's a thing?
It's a thing. Well, when I was living in Southern California down the street from my great-grandmother, we had an apricot tree in the backyard, and she had a lemon tree and an apricot tree, and she made the best lemon meringue pie and the best apricot pie. So I learned from her, and I've never seen a recipe like hers. It included not very much sugar because you want the apricots to be tart, and a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, and tapioca, the dry tapioca beads that you would use for tapioca pudding.
Okay.
And use that instead of flour. And it stops it from being gummy, but it gels it up really nicely.
Interesting.
I also made a sump pump for the air conditioner behind me because we were having to take buckets, plural, of water a day downstairs from the valve that's draining all the humidity out of the room. And I was away from my desk once.
Ooh.
And nobody was watching it. So I went out and I got a little pond sump pump, or a
fish pond thing.
Little fish pond thing. And then I had to find a switch, which is not easy to find because you're going to burn the motor out. It's not going to drain fast enough to, and I'm glad I figured that one out right before I left the store to come home. But they have, for people who have the sump pumps down in their basement because the basement could get flooded, they had a little trigger that was a cylinder maybe 6 inches tall, and it had little foam circle on the bottom and a little foam circle 2/3 of the way up. And they were both inside a cage so that stuff couldn't get into them except for water. And you set it maybe 3 inches from the bottom, and you're supposed to attach it to a pipe, and I don't have a pipe, so I got a mason jar and filled it with water to make it non-buoyant.
Okay.
And I attached the sucker onto that, and then as the water level rises and it lifts that bottom foam piece, that turns it on. And then if it goes below the bottom, it turns it off. And all it's doing is turning on and off an electric switch. So you plug the power for the pump into the electric switch. And then the top one is the fail-safe. The top one is, and if the bottom one doesn't trigger it, the top one will.
Okay. Nice.
I was so excited.
You're all MacGyver-y.
I am. And it's working. And I actually, it's not ugly.
Good.
I was thinking about getting a little pond thing, though, and putting, little fish plants or something in the bucket. And then I just said, no, that's crossing a line.
Too much.
Yep.
Too much.
Yep. Well, go play with your puppy.
Yeah, and I have to make my daughter one last dinner before she goes to the land of Swedes. So.
Are you going to make something American?
We did. Well, last night we did Tex-Mex because she said she wanted spicy food before she leaves.
Smart girl.
So last night we did Mexican, and tonight we are. I'm making Fra Diablo pasta sauce.
Ooh.
So,
Muy bueno.
I mean, tonight she leaves at we have to to the airport at 5, so we're all eating dinner in the middle of the afternoon.
All right. Well, go get your molto bene on.
Okay. Are we recording next week, or is next week one of the off weeks?
Next week is our last one for a little while.
Okay.
And I'll figure out the audio better. At least we got this far.
Because usually it works okay with this, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's because something about the encoder isn't taking the audio from where it's supposed to be taking the audio from. So
okay.
It's on my end, not you. It's me, not you.
Okay. Well, let me know if I need to change anything, and I will.
I will, absolutely.
Okay.
Have a good week.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.